Hello and welcome to the show. I'm here on Forza Horizon 2 with another rally car build, and my vehicle today is the Lancia Delta S4, one of my favourite Group B rally cars. I'm going to have a go at modifying this up to S1 class and seeing how it fares. I've got kind of high hopes for this vehicle. The suspension can sometimes be a bit interesting on the S4s when it comes to Forza. So that's an experience often with this particular vehicle. Now, as ever with this series, the rules are the vehicles must have the Storm Island tyres, which I'm about to fit now over here, the off-road tyre compound. They must have the Storm Island gearbox, so it's going to be short gear ratios, designed for sort of more rallying, and they're going to have the off-roading suspension, which is where my slight concerns for this car may come. In fact, it makes bugger all difference. Okay, like how it's moving the wheels slightly. That's not what I expected. Normally that'll raise the car up, but okay. We're going with the store. I guess the Delta comes with already fully raised suspension as standard. This is often what gives it a little bit of its problems. Okay, we've got all of the required parts, and now I have to make it up to S1. I don't think we have any interesting parts for the car, do we? No, it's just a beard at the front, or we can have a wing halfway up, which I don't like either. Not going to bother with that. Engine swap wise, you can get a Ferrari V8, but if you can get the 1.6 Turbo Rally, which I'm not sure why on earth you'd use that instead of the standard engine, or you can get the Ferrari V8, which we're not going to use either. At least not unless we absolutely, in fact no, we're not going to, because that's already almost the top of S1 without anything else. Now, the Delta S4 is an interesting car. In real life, the S4s were twin charged, which means they had a supercharger and a turbocharger. But I don't think Forza allows that, because I'm pretty sure when you go in here you can only, or either that or you can't upgrade the supercharger at all. You can only upgrade the turbo in there. So yeah, a little bit wonky on that. We should be able to get decent power out of the engine anyway. I'm going to focus, firstly you're going to go for tyre widths. These are quite useful. You can get pretty damn big tyre, or decent sized tyres on this car. 295s on the rear, and considering we're only putting this into S1, that should give us plenty of grip in this vehicle, which is always useful. Not going to worry about them parts just yet. Brakes, most definitely want the brakes. We're going to brakes are very important. We're going to dump the weight out of it as well. Get down 2,200 pounds, and that's not too bad in this vehicle. I will also stick in the anti-roll bars, and I will put in the roll cage. I think most of the parts here are owned. I made some S2 monster out of this thing. So yeah, most of the parts are probably going to be owned. Right, okay, that hasn't really changed the PI very much. Engine, time to modify the engine. How much power are we going to be? I'm not sure we're going to be getting a huge amount of power out of this particular car. We should get it to the top of S1, as it is going to be quite light. But it's certainly not going to be the most powerful. I mean, the Bentley was putting out 680 we got coming out of the Bentley, which is quite a lot of power. In this class, where the Bentley was quite heavy, power to weight ratio will be better in this particular vehicle. Although, yeah, I am slow. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, we're now getting right up towards. It's going to be one of the least powerful cars that we've had here, in fact. It may be. I think it's just a little bit more powerful than the Metro, but it's not by very much in this. Can we squeeze any? Nope, we're not going to get that. Not going to get that on there. We could squeeze on an air filter. Sure, let's do that. We'll stick that in there. We will then go and put the differential in, as I normally do with these. Just might as well have it. Can we squeeze in the drive line? Oh, we can get one. Another £4. Might as well take that out since we're still keeping it within the S1 class category. There we go. It is 447 horsepower, but only 2,300 pounds. So good power to weight ratio, or not the most overall power. Car does look quite low on here. Normally on Forzas, the S4 is really high riding and rolls around like mad. 4 seconds to 60. 7.5 to 100, 170 mile an hour. That's not bad with a rally gearbox. They're going to be very short gear ratios in this, and being four-wheel drive, we're going to be quick accelerating. It could be a good car, this one. It could be a good car. Could being the optimum word. right now, as, yeah, sometimes we could have some wobbly suspension in this. I don't quite know what to expect. If it isn't wobbly, if it is nice to drive, then yeah, we could have a very quick car, being one of the lighter vehicles, and it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad on the rally suspension. As per normal, we will use our testing track, the Forest Brawl circuit, where I will have 5 laps to go as quickly as possible in the Delta. I'm not sure we will have set the fastest time in this vehicle. I am thinking I think we'll probably go around the Galant, perhaps. May not quite go as quick as that, although I don't know. I didn't expect the Bentley ever to go to the top of the table. Who knows what? I would love the Delta to be top. I would love a Lancia to top the table. I'm not sure it will. I'm not sure how controllable this monster will be, but let's find out as we come up towards turn 1. Please have grip. Please have grip. Please have... Okay, well, we're very sideways through there. I may have turned it in a little bit too vigorously into the first corner. We are nicer to drive than the Mini already. It is much nicer to drive. How are we through here? Okay, still a little bit slidey. A little bit slidier than I would have liked from the Lancia. We're flying slightly wonkily across the jump. It's fine. That was more my fault than the cars. There we go. That's more like the flight path that we want from the Lancia. Fly decently flat and level, and whoa, that's always an interesting section. I do like that bit of track of flying down the hill there. Okay, it is nicer to drive. It's certainly nicer to drive than the Mini. We do have a little bit more grip, but it doesn't feel as planted as perhaps the Bentley or the Mitsubishi yet. How do we do on blinding acceleration? Jump. Oh, look at that lovely flight through the air. Okay, it took a little bit of a clonk on the front, but that's far nicer than anything else. Straight line speed-wise, we're okay. It's not amazing, though, from the Delta. It just doesn't have the power. Okay, yes, it is a lighter vehicle, but it doesn't have the power of the other cars. Oh, and the back end just wants to get away a little bit down there. It'd be neat across that jump. And we're going to get a big slide through here, I suspect. Yep, indeed we are. That's not conducive for a good lap time. We do fly lovely, though. I will give it that. Ooh, I've done that's gone a bit wrong there. It flies quite nicely when you don't mess up completely the takeoff. But there is the small issue with the bumps, apparently. It liking to spin the car sideways. Yeah, I'm not sure. It just doesn't seem like it's quite got the ride height of some of the other rally vehicles, which is peculiar. But never mind, I should keep trying. This wasn't a particularly clean lap from the Delta. Saw through the air. Yeah, even that one there that wasn't particularly... We started twisting a little bit. It's pretty good. I'm impressed across the big jumps. Yeah, we just lack that little bit of power. Ooh, I've outbraked myself completely. I'm so busy trying to see what the speed we got up to. I forgot to brake. Never helpful. Back end will let go. I mean, cars are going to slide. You know, we're driving on dirt. But the Bentley was very, very composed on the most part through these corners. The Delta not quite as much, or the Galanta also was very composed through these corners. The Delta is just a little bit more skittish. Maybe being that little bit lighter isn't necessarily helpful. I mean, the Bentley by far the heaviest car we had here, and the fastest we've had around this particular track. So maybe that little bit of extra weight was useful in the Bentley. It wasn't useful for the bloody Mini, but I mean, the Mini was considerably heavier than the Bentley as well, so who knows. Yeah, the Lancia, though, just doesn't quite have that rear grip. Yeah, we're flying through the air, slightly dodgy. That time round, not ideal. It is quite neat, though. It is quite neat over the jumps. It's only me being really silly with it. There we go. Much neater through turn 1. It doesn't quite... I'm kind of scared through this corner now. I'm scared because I know it's going to just slide a little bit. And again, through here. Can't quite be flat out there. We'll have a brake and a downshift through this next corner. Yeah, neatly does it through there. Now, take off nicely. Look at that. That was very nice from the Lancia around that bottom corner. Again, I just didn't quite push it because I don't trust the back of the car on the inside of that corner. Then we run down the hill and then we remember to brake up here. That's always useful. Up towards the final corner now. We're a little bit wide, a little bit of sliding there. on the exit from the Lancia. It doesn't quite have the same acceleration that I perhaps expected from it either. Oh no, that's gone badly wrong. Ugh, that's not good. That's not an ideal line. God damn it, we were on a fast lap that one. And for whatever reason, we didn't quite leave the jump properly. And the back end got kicked up into the air. That is not a pleasant experience. We still rode out of it on the other side, okay. But ran a little bit wide. Through that corner, just took a little bit of a bump. This isn't a perfect lap either from the S4, but maybe we can be a little bit neater across the jump. I'm going to be brave through here, keep my foot down. Oh, it doesn't like taking it. Just about got away with it that time. Doesn't like taking that corner flat out though. Again, down here, it's moving around. It's not ideal around these corners. A little bit terrifying through there from the Lancia. Slow it down for the final main corner, and now we should have accelerate towards the jump. Took some cones with us. Probably just lost a little bit of time from taking the cones, I think. That's much nicer across the jump, much nicer from the S4. Oh, we're going to be quick running up towards the line. It's across with a new record. Thank you very much for that. The Lancia did it. The new fastest time for the S4. I do like to see an S4 at the top of the table. Not the easiest of cars I've had to drive, though. The Galant and Bentley were a little bit more composed. Could get away with a couple of them corners flat out. Ooh. That one jump did that to the front. Very nice through the air. I will say that about the Lancia. It is possible to cock it up, but on the most part flies very nicely. However, there's not quite as much rear end grip as I would like. You can get away with the corners. You can carry the corner speed in this car most times. Just occasionally the back end will let go. Yeah, the S4. Very quick car. Not the easiest of vehicles to drive, but it does top our table, which is always good. Just a little bit scary to drive at times. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.